I need the 2 screens. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started very soon. So join in. Tell me where you're from. And we will be starting up really soon. I'm very excited to talk to all of you. Hi, Lawrence. I'm glad you made it back. That's great. Hi, Sasha. Hi. I'm excited to share this webinar with you. It's going to be really, really interesting. I wonder if you can you see me? You guys can see me, right? Let me know if you can see me. Write it in the chat room if you can. Yep. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Hi, Amanda. All right. So we are, thanks, Sasha. We are Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Lynn. Very excited you're all joining me. Hi, Karen. Great. So we are, thank you. I wasn't sure if you could see me or not. So now I know you can. Yes, Julie in Virginia. Hey, Julie, nice to see you. And Sonia, very excited to see all you guys and really excited to talk about this topic as we're closing out 2015 and starting up in 2016. How you doing, Lotus? So what I want you to do, which I know is a very challenging thing to do, especially even for me, is to turn off anything that's distracting you, turn off cell phones, really give this time to yourself right now. Really give this time to yourself to be in a meditative mood and shut off what's going on. Matter of fact, let's do a real quick grounding meditation, which lets you to let go of everything that has been like bothering you, especially with the holiday season and the ending of the year. And you know, I don't know about you, but it's so busy for me and I've been trying to like slow down. So let's do that all right now. So everybody just close your eyes and just breathe into your heart. And as you breathe into your heart, feel the expansion and the love for yourself. And anything that you're concerned about, anything that you're worried about with other people, just cut that away. See Spirit, see Archangel Michael just cutting those cords away. And put your hand, your left hand or your right hand, whichever you want, over your heart. And just breathe into that. And as you breathe into it, breathe into the consciousness that you are loving yourself. And I would like you to also take your other hand and put it on your throat chakra, which is where we're going to be working today. And these are 2 areas, your heart and your throat, that really speak your truth to you. So while you do that, I just want you to take a second to breathe into that. I have to go let my cat out, otherwise he'll never give us a break. And I'll be right back. Great. Okay. So now I want you to see a little grounding cord coming out your first chakra, which is at the base of your spine. And see this cord going all the way down into Mother Earth. And breathe into that cord. Breathe into the gratitude for Mother Earth, the gratitude for the earth that is supporting you. And let her send up a vibrational energy, color, feeling, all of them, or just one, that is just going to support you moving out of 2015 and moving into 2016. And you don't even need to know the intentions behind that support, what they're supporting you, what Mother Earth is supporting you in. You just know that it's for your higher self and it's in alignment with your soul. And breathe that all the way up your spine, all the way out your crown chakra, and go all the way up into the sky and connect with your higher self, whether you ever met your higher self or not, and I'll explain what a higher self is. Your higher self is a wiser part of you that already knows the answers to your questions. She or he may span a year, 5 years out. There's different levels of our higher self, and there's different ones that we can tap into. So for the purposes of today, we're going to tap into a year from now. So just breathe up into that energy. And notice what you feel when you breathe into it. Do you feel love? Do you feel abundance? Do you feel scarcity? You know, don't make anything wrong or right. Just breathe into it. And then let all that energy come down into your heart and your throat. And then you mix yourself today in that energy and move it down to Mother Earth. And feel it expand underneath your feet. Feel it get an essence of gold and sparkles, really supporting you in your highest dreams, your highest wisdom. And then breathe back in and breathe up to your higher self. Courage, trust, that you're going to trust this process. And breathe back down into Mother Earth. And release any beliefs that are keeping you from your destiny, keeping you from your soul's purpose. And then breathe back into your body. And open your eyes when you're ready. So I hope that grounded you. It's really important to ground. I'm going to show you. You guys are going to have to bear with me with the slides because I'm still learning them. So this is the book that I gave away for free that my guides and I wrote this year. It's called 360 Living, Living Your Best Year Yet. And it's a guide to living and creating the life you want. If you have not, I believe everybody on the Telesummit the webinar is going to receive one. But if you want to get one and you receive it soon, go and opt into my list. It's probably the best thing you can do. So go to don't do it right now. Go to MarilynAloria.com and put your name and email in, and you're going to receive this 50-page magnificent book. Now, I'm going to ask all of you to really make sure that you do it. It's a little challenging because there's quite a bit of material in this. My guides gave me a lot of material when I wrote this book. It just got channeled through me in like a week. But it's really good for you. And I want to explain why I wrote this book real quick. And this is what we're going to work on today. Last year, I got very, very clear that I wanted to live my life differently. So I had a birthday just recently, this past Monday. So my last birthday a year ago, I was like, I am going to change my life completely. And I got very clear and focused. I needed to get focused because as a creative being, and I'd love to know how many of you experience this, where as a creative being, I'm constantly getting ideas. And I'm going to this thing, to that thing, to this thing, to that thing. And it's very hard for me sometimes to see things through. How many of you have that experience where you just have, where you feel like you have a lot of creative ideas, but you just can't seem to see them through because one seems better than the other, or this one fizzles out and then that one looks all sparkly, and then you're like, wait a second, now there's that one, and oh wait, what about this one back here? How many of you have that experience? Let me know. And the reason I share this with you is because, yeah, infinite ideas. Infinite ideas are wonderful, Lotus. But the thing is that if you're not seeing things to fruition, or if you're not seeing totally, people are agreeing, yep, I have that here, lots of ideas, difficulty following through, choosing the one that is best. Perfect. Terry says, thought it was I think she means just her. Yes, creating and seeking. Yes, constantly. Good. You're all in the right place. So many creative ideas and businesses have started, but they don't move forward. Amanda, we're going to talk about a little bit about that. That's what we're going to work on today. What I found in my own personal Somebody says they feel like they lack ideas. What may be happening there is that you're not in your fullest recognition of yourself. I want to say this carefully. You're not in the consciousness. This is how they're saying, giving it to me. You're not in the full truth of who you are, just in the sense of you may be feeling insecure. You may be negating parts of yourself. You may be living by somebody else's agenda. You may have wanted to do something when you were younger and somebody told you you couldn't do it. So that may be why you're lacking ideas. That might be one of the reasons. So let me finish my story as we move on, because we're going to have a lot of fun today and it's chock full. And yes, I'm going to do a Q&A at the end, as I always do. And it's going to be very interactive. So I was tired of that. Like, I constantly have ideas. I'm constantly starting things and it's hard for me to see them through. And I decided that I was going to live differently. And I started out doing the book, The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte, which I really like. And it gave me the idea of the feelings that I wanted to experience in my life. Right now, how many of you feel like, know what you want to feel? Like, write down 3 feelings right now that you want to feel. Could be abundance, could be prosperity, could be love, could be freedom, could be connection to God. Write down feelings and give me some feelings right now that you want to experience in 2016. And I can tell you, for me, I had 6 different feelings. Freedom was one of my biggest ones. Connected to source, prosperity, abundance, magnificence. Happiness was another one. You know, I had all these feelings that I wanted to feel. Love, prosperity, magic, joy, fulfillment, abundance, freedom, total health, 100% clear. Love that, Connie. The 100% clear. Perfect. Oneness. Kalavati. Hi, sweetie. You made it. She's, I believe, in India. Beautiful. And Lotus said she did it and led her to a book club for it. I couldn't narrow my list down to just 5. I had too many. You know, I feel like that's okay. I feel like then you work with as many as you have, because you just, this is what happened for me. So I got those feelings. I knew what I wanted. And then my guides took it further and they dropped in this whole 360 living. They gave me 6 goals that I had to work with each month. And one of the goals were home, spiritual connection, spiritual connection, family and friends, career and money, relationships, and fitness. So those were the 6 that they gave me. And they had me do goals in every single one. Now, those goals could be simple. You could say for home, oh, I don't really need to do anything with my home this month, so I'm just going to make sure I light a candle one night and enjoy it. And then nutrition could be, I'm going to cut out bread, completely cut out bread this month, and that's what I'm going to do. So my guides dropped in this whole thing that really, really shifted and changed my life. Like, why didn't they drop this in 20 years ago? And they said I wasn't ready for it. They just said that. And it really made such a difference in my life. And that's why I wanted to share it with all of you. And I'm giving it for free. I gave it to free for everyone. What I am doing with it is I'm going to be going through the monthly goals. Each month, we're going to be focusing on a different thing in membership. So membership, I'm going to take this to an umpteenth degree, where I'm going to teach them different things about clairvoyancy, hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing your guides, all different areas of your life, working on the psychic mediumship ability so that you're showing up authentically and organically and working on these goals. But if you can't join me in membership, I wanted to still share it with all of you. And it's a really incredible book. And I may be doing some more with this book for free. So stay on my list and get there, because I really want you guys to do this. So what I want to talk to you today is about when you have clarity of goals. What happened for me is my expectations were released. I had a focus. I knew what I was working on. So one of them was to write a book, right? I didn't succeed in writing the book, but I took a writing class. I then took a script writing class. And what happened is I wrote an ebook. I had no idea I was going to write an ebook. And I felt great about it. I wasn't upset with myself for not achieving that main goal. because the journey I took with that focus in mind was magnificent and perfect. And what happened was, I've been writing a specific book, a memoir, that is very complex, very challenging, to the sense that it takes a lot of my attention. I worked on it. I took this intense class. And what happened was, I realized I can't write that book now. I don't have the time to write that book. I don't have the resources right now to write that book. So my attention got drawn into writing another book. And I'm going to do that this year in 2016. I already have the material. I got it transcribed. It's coming out of one of my classes. But here's the thing. I'm not disappointed. So that's what I want for you. And what happens when you set your goals, you set clarity of goals, when the shiny new thing comes in, like, what about me? Do me, do me. You get to say to it, no, I'm not going to do you right yet. I'm going to put you aside. I'm going to write you in a notebook. I'm going to continue to work on the path that I am on. If this path ends up going someplace where I feel it is no longer fulfilling me and making me feel free or abundant or prosperous, then I will decide to push that goal aside and take another goal out. But it doesn't make you do this ping-ponging thing. It makes you live authentically from your heart and soul. So all year, I was able to show up consciously. I was able to show up organically. I got a voice like nobody's business. Like, watch out. You think I'm ballsy now? Forget about it. Because I started to really know my truth. I wasn't living by somebody else's agenda of what I was supposed to do. I was like, no, I'm clear. I'm clear what my nutrition is right now. I'm clear what fitness works for me. You know what else, another thing about fitness? And then I promise we're going to go into teaching. How many of you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be in a gym lifting weights, or I'm supposed to be doing all that circuit training that they're doing, or I can't remember what they call it, and I've done it, that crazy kind of jumping around stuff. Like that, I see that out there. I see people doing it. I see people really successful by it. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to be doing that. I don't like it. I went to a gym the other day, into one of those really big fitness classes, and I was like, oh my goodness, the music is way too loud, and I'm just so not into the energy in this room. So what I got clear about nutrition-wise, I like to hike. I like to trail run. I like to do yoga. I like to play tennis. And that's great for me. And you know what? I just went back to New York a couple of weeks ago, and my friends were like, my friends who've known me for over 30 years, like, you look better than you've ever looked. There you go. All right? So let's talk about, what kind of life do you want to live? Before we start moving on, what I want you to do right now is take a moment, and I'm going to get you to get quiet. And I want you to think, without like being right about it, being wrong about it, what kind of life do you think you want to live next year? Do you know? What are 3 goals? Let's pick 3 of the areas. Let's pick career, let's pick love, and let's pick nutrition. Write down a goal in each of those areas right now that you want to see to fruition. And if you're afraid to write down your goal, write down why you're afraid of it. Maybe your whole life you felt like the other shoe is dropped, and that's been an issue. So write down the fear around it. I don't want to write this goal down, because if I write it down, it's never going to come true. The idea of what I'm doing is, when you write down a goal, you're getting clear, and something better comes into your life through that clarity, through that consciousness, through that awareness. I want to hear from you. What are some of the goals you wrote down? Love unconditionally. Beautiful, Sonia. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Who else? Give me some more. Somebody said how looking for a job and feeling confident instead of filled with anxiety is usually, I have to, oh, that's a question, so I'll get to that later. Optimal health. I love that. Losing weight, Kathy. Perfect. Perfect. So these are these goals attainable? I'm sure you've tried them before. And what has not worked for you before? Do you know? Tell me what hasn't worked for you before. Self-fulfillment in career. Beautiful one. Let me tell you something. Amanda, I have to say I'm living that, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's all available to you, all of you. Carolyn has coaching and dancing, making money at angel readings. Go, Donna. We're having a loving, securing relationship. Love it. And that, you know, CrossFit. Yes, Julie, that was right. CrossFit. I couldn't think of it. Thank you. That's not my goal this year. Great. So what is one reason why you think, write down next to your goals right now, and I hope you have paper and pen. Write down one thing that you feel has kept you from obtaining that goal. Now, and even if you think it's somebody outside of you, be honest. Be honest about what you think it is. Getting healthy and fit career relationships, beautiful. So now I want to know why you think you haven't been able to reach that goal. By the way, I had no idea I was going to teach all of this. This is my syllabus. They always do that. Having a first art show, beautiful, Linda. Oh, I love that, Elizabeth. Meet the one, book 2 guest stars, feel sexy all the time. All of this is attainable, guys, I'm telling you. Being too busy to focus. Love that, Bernadette. Thank you for that. Doubting myself, Gina. Yep, big one. Health and general well-being. Okay, that's your goal. Fear of judgment, another great one. Self-esteem and self-worth issues. Yeah, great. Self and what people will think, Sonia. Great one. Good, good, good. So these are all, and I'm sure everybody here that's hearing me read them out loud or what you're reading in the chat room, you're probably like, totally get that. I understand that. And that was my thing too. What I got clear about by doing this was that nobody's the puppet. I'm not a puppet, and nobody's the puppeteer anymore for my life. The only people that I'm paying attention to are my guides, and that's it. And sometimes I don't even give them the strings, and they're okay with it. The other thing I got clear about is I'm not living by anybody else's agenda anymore but my own. And it's between God and me, source and me, and that is it. And that's what I want you to get. And then what happened with that is I got extremely confident. I got extremely clear and conscious. Like I can't tell you how when things would hit me, simultaneously, I was able to observe it from a very conscious place and say, oh, no, 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 I'm not going down that road. Not doing that again. I'm clear. And I know what I'm doing. Now, let me tell you something. Self-sabotage, yeah. So what you want to do is, I just love you guys. I have to say that. You know, and you got to know, like my friends know, I'm not usually a mushy person in person. But for all of you, I have to say that. I just really appreciate you all showing up the way you're showing up. It means a lot to me. So what I really want to do right now is I want to get into your your throat chakra. How many of you have trouble hearing? How many of you have trouble hearing? How many of you feel like if you were able to hear, you would be able to speak your truth more? And by the way, your hearing, your clairaudience lives in your throat chakra. So speaking and hearing your truth is extremely important, and it really is important to clear out your 5th chakra, your throat chakra. Somebody just asked me on here who the ascended master is for the 5th chakra. You know what? I don't honestly know. If somebody knows, they can write that in. Angel, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I do. Gina says, I can't hear angels. Kathy says, me and yes. A lot of people, yes, yes, yes. I only hear when they yell. I get knowingness. Kalavati, knowingness is great. That's claircognizance. It drops in differently, and that's different. We'll cover that one day on a webinar. Linda said, I hadn't thought of it that way before. So I'm assuming you're thinking about hearing and speaking your truth, what I just said. So let's do a little work on your throat chakra. So let me talk a little bit about your throat chakra first, and then we're going to do some work, and we're going to play some hearing games so you can learn how you're hearing. Amanda, when you hear ringing, ringing is about your ears opening up. So it's about, I'm sorry, that chat room is, it's just a lot of fun in there. So it's about ringing. When you're hearing ringing in your ears, it's about your throat chakra opening up. It's about getting ready to hear. So when my throat chakra was opening up, this was years ago. I'm going to put glasses on because it's easier that way. What happened to me very long time ago, I started hearing whispering by my ear. And I knew that there were probably angels, but I didn't understand what it meant. Before that, I was getting a lot of ringing in my ears and I couldn't hear. So people would be talking to me and I'd be like, what are you saying? I can't hear you. So I went for a hearing test by like the best ENT person in New York City. She's actually Celine Dion's doctor and, you know, huge doctor, great, wonderful woman, absolutely wonderful woman. And I went to her to get hearing tests and she's like, your hearing is superb. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't hear anybody. I don't know what they're saying. I didn't know that that was my guides trying to get my attention, trying to get me to listen. So then I started hearing like little whispering in my ear, outside my ear. And I didn't know that, you know, I kind of knew it was the angels. I was opening up psychically. This was over 20 years ago. Then I started hearing people call my name and I would turn around and there would be nobody there. And then I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd hear voices in my room speaking. It was always like two voices, like my little hand puppets. And I would be turning off my radio. I had a remote control radio. My hair is just doing its own thing today. I'd have my remote control radio and I'd try to turn it off and it was off. I even unplugged it. I'm like, who are these people talking to me? And then I started having to work with my gifts and they were talking to me. They wanted me to hear them. By the way, some people saying, one person saying she's mostly clairvoyant and intuitive. The fact that you don't feel like you hear does not mean that you don't want to do this work right now, because I teach in a way that allows you to hear. And I also want you to learn how to get very comfortable in your throat chakra to hear your truth. They're ringing my ear right now, to hear your truth. And that is the main thing. I hear in a pain spot in my left side, strange but true. So Marie, and this is for everybody, bad earache today. How funny, Julie. When you have a pain or you have ringing in your ear, you want to bring your attention to that ringing. You want to bring your attention to that ache. And you want to start talking to it as if it's an entity, a being. You want to put a color to it. So sometimes it's hard to, like, if you're in a pain, you're like, I don't want to put a color to this. See what color it shows up. Maybe it shows up as a black ball. And start talking to it. Why are you here? What do you want me to know? And talk out loud to it. Because when you talk out loud, you hear it differently. And it's really important because that opens up your ears. I do a lot of clairaudient work in my membership program. It's on the bottom of the screen. It's an amazing program. So you start talking out loud, you'll hear things differently. All right. Who wants to get to work? Want to get to work? I only hear when I ask questions. That's great, Linda. The more you work with it, the more you open up to it, the more it'll open. All right, so we are going to do some work with your throat chakra, and we're going to play some games with hearing. So everybody close their eyes and breathe into your throat chakra. And your throat chakra is light blue. So breathe into that light blue into your throat chakra. And start breathing in a clockwise fashion so that you're opening it up and you're balancing it and clearing it. And as you're doing this now, start writing. I'm getting very dizzy, so if anybody's getting dizzy by breathing into it, tap into that grounding cord and breathe down into the earth, and then breathe all the way up your spine. That usually will balance you and get the dizziness gone. Very dizzy. As you're breathing into your throat chakra, even if you have to breathe down for a moment, breathe into your name. See your name written in letters. And if you have a hard time seeing, don't worry about it. Work with whatever gifts come to you. Now, put yourself in your throat chakra and touch the walls of the blue and come forward with a willingness to hear spirit, a willingness to hear your truth, a willingness to hear the deep voice inside of you that might have been silenced by teachers, belief systems, parents, people that thought they may have been doing well, and other people who wanted to hurt you for whatever reason. Really, they wanted to hurt themselves if they're hurting you. So any kind of deep voice down there that wants you to hear your truth, be willing to hear it. Some people are afraid to hear their truth, and I am here to tell you that your truth is much more beautiful than anything you've ever dreamed of. That's why it's your truth. When you guys anchor into the word truth, your truth, what color is it? What does it look like? Is it a flower? Is it a feeling? Now, I want you to think of a goal that you would like to attain. It could be one that you've mentioned already, or it could be a new one, but I want you to think of a goal. And now for 30 seconds, I'm going to get extremely quiet. Listen to the instructions first. And you're just going to tune into your ears. Whether you stay in your throat chakra, whether you put your attention on your ears, doesn't matter. And you're going to listen to any outside sounds. And all you're going to do is pay attention to the sounds for right now. I'm going to take this a step further in a moment. So for 30 seconds, just close your eye. You keep your eyes closed. Pay attention to outside sounds. I'm going to get quiet. Okay. Notice what you heard. Notice if something sounded louder than others. Notice if one ear was more, maybe the sound was on your left, but you were hearing it more in your right ear. Maybe you were hearing it in your throat or your heart. And we're going to do this again. And you're going to hold that goal in mind, and you're just going to pay attention to the sounds, and you're going to ask your guides, your spirit, your higher self, to bring one sound in more than any of the other sounds. And look, I'm asking you to do many things, so don't worry about if you can't do all of them, but grab onto one sound. If you can do the multitasking that I'm going to ask right now, notice where that sound is coming in from. Notice how it feels, that sound, if it's more vibrant, more energetic. And notice if you hear it in a particular ear or in a particular part of your body. So what you're going to do is, the first thing, the most important thing is which sound is the loudest. And it could be the actual sound that's the loudest. Don't negate it. Don't go, oh, I should really be hearing something else. Don't do that. Not allowed. Notice where you're hearing it. Notice if what you're hearing has a certain vibrational energy to it. Okay, so you're just gonna, don't worry about if I didn't get all her instructions. Who cares? You got what you were supposed to get. All right, I'm gonna get quiet. Pay attention to the sound. Okay, so before you open your eyes, I want you to take that particular sound and I want you to say the word out loud of what that sound is. So if it was a plane, say that out loud and see how you receive it when you hear it back. Just go with it, just feel it. Did it make you feel more expansive? Did it make you feel shut down? Did it make you feel happy? What did it make you feel like when you heard that sound? And you can, I'm going to get quiet again. You can say it out loud again and see how you feel. Now, I want you to take that sound and give more than a feeling to it. Give like a sentence to it. What does it mean to you? What does that sound mean to you? What was the first time you heard that sound? Or if it was like I heard the plane, remember your first plane trip, or what do planes mean to you? Break it down now. Are you afraid of flying? Like whatever the sound is that you heard, give it a little bit more, like a couple of sentences right now of meaning. And you can base it on a past experience. You can base it on a hope, a wish, a dream. You can base it on what somebody told you. You can even just give it a definition if you were to define what a plane was, if you looked it up on Wikipedia. So give it a couple of sentences right now. Okay, without even thinking now. And remember, you're nobody's around you, hopefully. You're all muted to me. I can't hear you. I want you, when I ask this question, to go with the first thing that comes to mind, and I want you to do it, what I tell you to do. I want you to think of the first song that comes to mind and sing it out loud now. And you may not have even heard the song before. Sing it out loud right now. Okay. So what I want you to do now is take all the answers that you got. And Lotus, I saw that you were confused, so I'll go through the definition of what I'm doing again so that you guys can do it on your own. And I want you to apply the song, apply the meaning of the sound, apply the sound to your goal. What do you think it's telling you about your goal? And I want you to write it in and tell me. I can't answer the question yet, Lotus, but let me know if you understood any further. Sometimes I confuse people. Sorry about that. Tell me what sound you got and if it gave you more information about your goal. I could not get a song. Okay. So Amanda, right now on your own, while I'm getting other answers, I want you to just sing anything. What I kept hearing is, I don't even remember now, but it was I can hear, I can hear, I can hear. What a glorious thing. I'm not singing for you guys right now, but that's what they gave me. They didn't give me a song, and I'm a very song-driven person. So just sing out loud right now. Come on, guys, I want to see. Yeah, Lotus, so let me go to the room because I'm having a hard time reading this chat on this page. Oh, I know why I'm having a hard time. Are they sounds that only I can hear, or meaning sounds that I'm hearing from outside your house? It was outside your house, yes, and I wasn't clear about that. But it's okay, whatever you did. So for that particular exercise, I was asking you to tune into sounds that were outside externally. I silenced my truth and start living in fear centuries ago. Golden light was my truth, pink rose, my medicine. I heard the golden light coming in my ears, no sound. Then I heard like small bells ringing and playing. The feeling that I was here, the feeling was healing and guiding me to live in my truth. Love that. Whoever NA is, I know you didn't want to give a name, and that's totally fine. That's beautiful. The song was Alleluia. Karen, great. Bobby, Car, Caught in a Trap by Elvis. Great. So what you want to do is if you got a particular song, you want to go and look up the lyrics and read the lyrics, because that is your spirit guides giving you information. They're telling you what to do. Lotus said, if a song comes to my mind, is that the same as hearing? Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. If a song comes to mind, go look up the lyrics. Lotus, you're asking great questions. Thank you so much for being the person that's helping me to describe things more accurately, okay? Because I sometimes channel really quickly. Bernadette got Ticking Clock Song. This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine. Not sure if divine timing, or time is now. It sounds to me like the time is now, Bernadette, and that your spirit guides are saying that you have to let your light shine now. And what I would suggest to you is getting in touch with that light inside of you, singing that song out loud for the next 7 days, and really feeling that light come out of you. And what's putting out that light, Spirit just said, pay attention to what's putting out that light. Lauren's got bubbles from fish tank, life, excitement, party, lightening up, play. Beautiful. The bubbles from the fish tank, I really like that, Lawrence, because to me, fish live in a whole other world. And we don't really know what goes on in the ocean. And we know, like, some people that go scuba diving, or you go down there, there's such a silence to it. There's such a peace. There's such a beauty to it most of the time. I feel like the water can sometimes hold different type of energy. But when you really get into like watching fish and getting into the water, is a very beautiful, peaceful energy. So Lawrence, for you, I would say, what brings you peace? That's going to be very strong going into 2016, and living what brings you peace. Helen got my song was Happy by Pharrell Williams. I mean, we all love that song. He's such a beautiful person. Great. Linda said she heard a loud truck outside. Reminded me of love, since the storms are keeping all inside here. I began singing Love Is All There Is. Love that. Love, love, love. You guys did really, really. Reunited was my song. Lee, look at the words, the lyrics of Reunited. So guys, just so you know, you can do this at any time. You could go to your iPhone, and you can ask your spirit guides a question and hit shuffle. And then whatever song comes up, listen to it and see how it makes you feel. And then look up the lyrics. If you wake up with a song in your head, go to your computer, look up the lyrics of the song, and read them. And there's usually a message in there. Amanda got a cricket song that her kids listen to about being happy and fulfilled. And that's great about what you have. And crickets are about good luck. Crickets are, in some cultures, when there's a cricket in the house, they sometimes believe it's spirits from the other side. You're not supposed to kill it. It's all about really good luck. Great. So now we're going to talk about your higher self, because we want to bridge these two tools that I'm doing with you right now. Okay. So one of the things spirits asked me to tell you too was that the thing about setting goals, which I am getting really specific about this in my membership program, is because it's about seeing things through. So my membership program, as you all know, that's why it's not the only reason why I'm doing webinars. I absolutely love webinars. I love teaching, and I just want everybody to walk away with something that opens them up and expands them, whether they join the program or not. That's really true. I really love teaching. I started teaching way before I started reading, because it was something that just came natural to me and I loved it. And some of you are in my classes and stuff, so you know how I teach. Membership has been something that's been a little bit over a year. And I was hemming and hawing a tiny bit with it this year. And I knew I wanted to go further with it, but I had all these little shiny bells and whistle things that I wanted to do too. Now, I've been out for some pretty big things this year. Big. And membership was the through line for me. It's something that I've always wanted to see through. And what my spirit guides told me when I was doing that exercise with myself, while you guys doing it, is to continue to see things through. If you are still passionate about it, you still love it, but you're not seeing the goal come to fruition, doesn't mean you abandon it. It means that you find new ways of doing that particular thing. So one of the things for me is I like being visible, right? And I'm not going to talk about one of the specific goals, because I find sometimes you have to keep goals to yourself, because the energy, if you're not really clear about it, people can really ruin that energy of your goal. Another reason why I love membership, we're all very supportive. All right, I'll stop plugging the program for now. So for me, I like being visible, right? I really love that. I love teaching. I love teaching a targeted audience, and I love seeing their growth. It's really great for me. So one of my goals that didn't, got very frustrating, got so close, but it didn't happen. I didn't get disappointed. Instead, it made me continue to focus on what was tangible right now, what I could do right now, what I could do to make my life happen. So membership was something that I knew I couldn't abandon. I knew I had to continue to grow. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I knew I wanted it to get bigger and bigger. I mean, I did a whole other program, Higher Purpose, Higher Income, and that I decided I'm not going to do any longer. It wasn't for me, but I'm going to throw that energy into membership, teaching people how to have a career that they love. And visible, now I'm able to do visible. So for you actors out there that are waiting, or maybe authors waiting for a book to be published, or painters waiting for someone to buy your painting, you won't want to wait for the outside energy in. You want to continue to create the inside energy out. You want to do everything you can to give you that feeling. So if it's acting and you need to act, then you need to pull some friends together and just act with them. Or you need to do a YouTube thing where you're just acting on it. Or you need to go into a grocery store and act like somebody friendly. Just do what you need to do to fulfill that dream. Do not give up on it. Because if it's living in your heart and soul, it's living there for a reason. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean you need to abandon it. Even being sad with it. Like, I have a friend who's an actress, and every time I talk to her, she sometimes has frustrations. And I'm like, no, but this is what you're meant to do. And she cries every time I say that to her, because she knows that that's her truth and she needs to hear it. So trust it. Stacy said she's ready for a close-up. I'm ready for your close-up too, Stacy. Okay, great. So now, Lotus asks a great, okay, I'm sorry I'm having such a hair day. I'm getting my hair cut on Saturday. How do I know? You guys know how transparent I am. I have people sometimes saying, go get your hair blown out. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. How do I know when to keep things to myself and not share my goals? That's a really good question. From the very beginning, I used to not share my goals at all, right? And then I started sharing them. And I found that when I was sharing them, it was more out of an insecurity. It was more like, look at me, look at what's going on with me. I want you to know what's going on with me. Look at this amazing thing. For me now, when I know to share a goal is when I feel when I feel an urging to share it because I need to own it. Because I need to own it out loud. When I have no fear about it, when I feel really confident about it, and when the audience is very safe. So I won't necessarily, like, there's one goal I'm not sharing with all of you right now, but with certain people, I've shared that goal because I know that they're extremely safe for me. So I'm not ready to come out in the world with it, but I'm able to share it with a close circle. A goal of writing my book, I'm not afraid to tell you guys that because I know it's going to eventually happen. I know I'm going to do it. I feel confident about it. There's nothing you could say to me. You could say you're an awful writer, but so what? I have editors. Who cares? There's nothing there. So that's a goal I could share. So when you're really feeling confident about the goal, you can share it. Good, Stacy. I'm glad that made you feel good. You get on TV, girl. All right, let's do your higher self. How many of you are in touch with your higher self, and do you know what your higher self is? Santini, not feeling confident about anything, that's your goal, to work on your confidence. If you think I came out of the womb with a mouth, but I didn't come out feeling confident. I was just extremely assertive from day one. So I had to really work on my confidence, and I still work on it. Trust me. Amanda says she knows her higher self, so that's great. Nikki says yes. Yes, Kalavati, great. Kathy is intuition. I'm not sure what that means, Kathy. Gina says yes. Great. Okay. So your higher self, what I want you to work with right now is a higher self that is a year from today. Erin said no idea. I'm going to talk about what a higher self is. I can hear the angels that I have no idea about my higher self, confused. Higher self is so important. Let me tell you about my higher self. Okay. So your higher self is a part of you that's already realized your goal, is already living the life that you want to live. She or he is already doing it. So they're in the future. But because time is linear, you can tap into that energy right now. That she or he is already living that life you want to live. So I first got in touch with my higher self. I have to drink some water. I'm not going to say my age yet. I'm not ready to come out with that age. About 24 years ago, I got in touch with my higher self. A therapist helped me do that. And when I got in touch with my higher self, I was working for NBC at the time, MTV or NBC. I was working in TV. I had a big job. It was probably about 20 years ago. I can't even remember. I was in charge of a lot of people. I was starting to do a lot of psychological work on myself. I was very unhappy. I was not acting. I wasn't doing any of that. I didn't even think that was a dream at all at that point in my time. And I met my higher self, and she was in these, like, what you would call hippie clothes, right? She was in these flowing skirts and You see, I don't really wear jewelry. She was with rings and necklaces on, and she was this really cool, peaceful person. That's not who I was. I was like a fighter. I was loud. I was a drinker. I was complete opposite of what this higher self was that showed up for me. And I really dug her. I really loved her. She was just so cool. And she was such the essence of inner peace for me. And what I learned to do, now she was obviously, I would say more me than anything else, but I didn't put a year goal on her. I just put a higher self called in. So I was obviously calling in the higher self that was a medium, and I didn't even know I was a medium at this time. And I knew I had psychic ability, but I didn't know it. And I would take her with me to go shopping, and she would help me pick out clothes. I would take her with me to buy food. I would just talk with her. I would help her. I would talk to her when I was so depressed working in TV, and ask her to help me to get through that. And what did I need to do? And she would just tell me all the things that I needed to do and give me direction and guidance. And that's what my higher self was. That's what your higher self is. Your higher self is already living the dream. She or he is already there. So when you're confused about something that you need to do, you go into a meditation with your higher self and you ask them, should I take this class? Should I join Marilyn's membership program? I'm sure they'd say yes. Maybe they wouldn't, but should I take this class? Should I write this book? Should I go out on that date? Is this for my higher self? Is this getting me where I want to go? And they'll tell you what's going on. So in the ebook, I have a day in the life where you meet your higher self. So I really recommend that you do that because it's very, very important for setting goals for the new year. For this, we are going to do a little higher self meditation, and I'm going to get you in touch with it as best as you can. And yes, you can have many different higher selves. So the higher self I've been working with right now, she's probably about 10 years older than me right now. I will work with one a year from now. On my birthday, I was hiking. You need to write it down, but you can practice this way. And we're going to do this a little bit now. And I was stating what I was going to do a year from now when you do a day in the life. And I was so unclear. So unclear. It's why it's really important that you do that. Don't get caught up in what I'm talking about right now. Just read it in the ebook, A Day in the Life. It's going to be really important. Stacy says, yes, join the program. Woohoo! Because she's in the program and she loves it, my membership. Okay, so let's do a little work, guys. It's not going to be as big as I'd want it to be. Santini, I have to say what Santini wrote. She said, I just realized that I can still love myself even if I'm not confident. Oh my God, this is a miracle. Thank you, beautiful Marilyn. You're welcome. And it's so true. All right, everybody, close your eyes. Let's get in touch. And remember, I'm going to do a Q&A. I know this is going a little bit longer than I thought, but who cares? You're learning, right? And it's fun. I hope it's fun. I don't think you'd be staying on if it wasn't fun. Let's meet your higher self. I'm so excited. All right. So close your eyes. Breathe into your stomach. And as you're breathing into your body, breathe into the essence of who you are today. And notice if you fill your body, if the essence of who you are today fills your body, if it's smaller than your actual physical body, if it permeates outside your body, if it goes outside your body, just breathe into who you are. And as you're breathing into who you are, notice if there's any hooks or strings from outside people, and just ask Archangel Michael to unhook them. And just continue to breathe into the essence of who you are today. Notice how it feels. Notice if you feel peace, if you feel love, if you feel joy, whatever the one feeling that you have. Maybe you feel fear. And that fear is not something to be afraid of. I'm so glad there's books being written about that now. Fear is something that is it's a moment in time to let you know that something needs to shift or change or expand. Now, recall something that you did just recently. Something that, an activity, an event, and something you did just recently. And see you today doing that thing. And what's the energy of you doing that thing that you just did recently? Do they feel depressed? Do they feel sad? Do they feel overwhelmed? Do they feel happy? Now, in front of you, you're going to see grass, just beautiful green grass. And I want you to see yourself a year from now doing something that you really want to do. Maybe you're down to the weight you want to be. Maybe you are at a book signing. Maybe you're on a set, a TV show set. Maybe you're selling your painting at an art show. Maybe you're giving angel readings. Just see you today, witness the event a year from now. Notice the energy of you in that event. Don't merge with it. Try to keep yourself separate, but just, you could see words coming out like joy or love or whatever it is. Notice the energy of that event. Notice how that you a year from now feels doing that thing. Notice what they're wearing. Notice what their hair looks like. Notice what's on their feet. Notice how they're interacting with others, if they're interacting with others in this event a year from now. Do yourself a favor to keep observing it. Do not merge with it. Now I want you to walk over to that event and stand in front of you a year from now. And I want you to ask yourself a year from now what they have that you don't have right now. Something they have. It could be material, it could be physical, it could be emotional. Let it be whatever it is. Now I want you to let them compliment something about you today. Let you from a year from now tell you today something miraculous, wonderful about you today. And if you can't think of anything, I'm going to give you this. You're showing up to live your most authentic life. Now I want you to ask yourself a year from now, ask that person, what was the biggest lesson you learned this year? They may give you something small. Don't worry about it. What was the biggest lesson they feel you learned this year? Now I want you to ask them to tell you, what habits did you release this year? What new habits did you engage? Let your future self tell yourself today what new habits you engaged in 2015. What's a new habit you engaged? And if there aren't any, don't worry about it. Just observe it. Now, I want you to tell your future self, or your future self is going to tell you, however it works for you, what is one goal you want to achieve in 2016? And it could be what they're doing, or it could be something else. Now, I want you to ask them, what is the feeling or quality of life you feel this goal will give you? What is the feeling or the quality of life you feel this goal will give you? Could be one and the same, could be two separate things. And now I want you to ask them one step you can take this year, ending this year, to start pursuing that goal, putting that goal into action. One step. It could be something so simple, listening to a podcast, that you can take. Okay. So now, before you come out of this, I want you to make a commitment of a time and place that you can talk with your higher self again. And I'd like the two of you to go to a spiritual place in mind. You don't have to go there physically. So when I meet with my higher self, it's in this beautiful church in a specific area. So make a time and date that you're going to meet again. Okay, so just breathe into your stomach, thank your higher self, and come back to the room. Say your name to yourself 3 times. We do that in yoga all the time, which is so great. Breathe in, hold your breath, and then just sigh it out. And then I want to hear something that you got from that. Now, Donna said she tried the meditation, sort of saw her higher self, got a name, but then tried to ask questions and crickets. So what I would say to that, Donna, is I would want you to do a free writing exercise. It's a really great tool. What you do is you could go to the ebook. If you don't have the ebook, get the ebook. It's a really phenomenal book. And not because I didn't really write it, they wrote it. So that's why I could say it. And just put a timer on, right? And maybe you set a 3 minute, because there's like 19 questions in the beginning. So maybe you set a minute for each question or 3 minutes for each question, and just write. And even if you can't think of anything, just write crickets, crickets, crickets. I can't think of anything. This is stupid. This is annoying. I don't get anything. And just do that. Your higher self is your future self, but I don't use future self, Donna, because future self means that time is not linear. And that is available to you now. And that's why I don't usually use the future self, but I'm glad you asked that question. So you would just write a free writing exercise. Now, by the way, Donna, the fact that you used the word crickets would make me say to you, go to, I love Ted Andrews' book, Animal Speak. Go to Animal Speak and look up what crickets mean. So that would really help you to just listen to what your higher self wants you to know. Angela, thanks for joining us. It's okay if you can, this will be on you, this will be sent out, I believe, as a replay, so you can watch the ending of this, but thank you so much for joining. Carrie says, thank you, Marilyn. That was amazing. I received information I never have before, feeling happily emotional. So happy, Carrie. Santini says, this was awesome. The message blossoms from the heart to experience bliss, infinite gratitude. Beautiful. The message blossom from the heart to experience bliss, infinite gratitude. Stacy message to slip into the ease, accept autonomy, believe in myself. Love that. Carolyn, I am to paint every day, no matter how little time daily. Goal is an art show with me feeling content and joyful. I love that, Carolyn. I think that's amazing. What I would suggest you do that, you know, and even if you can only paint for a second, paint for a second. I find, and I'm sure a lot of you find this too, if I start something, it absorbs me. It's like that one book that I want to write. Like, I know that I probably would have to be taken off I'd have to really stop a lot of things to write that book, which I really want to write. The second book, not the first one. You know, the first book's different. And you have to set a timer sometimes. So if you only have 2 minutes to do something, set the timer and stop it, because it's really hard for people like us to pull ourselves out of it. So we think, oh, I don't have the time. I can't do it because I really don't have the time. So then you don't do it at all. Well, then do it for 2 minutes and set a timer. Erin, I felt warm, confident, energetic from her higher self. Beautiful. Lee got a message to meditate. Lotus got, my higher self has sensuality and more sparkle. She's definitely joyful. Love that. Amanda says she saw all in white playing on the beach in the sand with my kids and husband. She was so full of joy and peace. That's why I love this work. She's proud. I've learned to live in the now. She suggested to play more and be more active. I love that. So Amanda, what I'd have you do is write a list of what makes you feel more joy. Like for me, I started taking tennis, you know, a little more than a year ago. And it's been the best thing that I've ever done. One of the best things I've ever done. I love it. Great. Spending time with friends, Erin got. I got to write a book too. One step for the rest of the year. Right. Lotus got. Great. Bernadette get my message to trust that all roads lead me to my destiny. I love that. Sonia got write a book. This surprises me. Love that, Sonia. That's beautiful, because, you know, we edit ourselves. We don't allow the new things to come in because we think we can do it. Sally got eat more veggies and drink more tea. That's great, Sally. You should have seen what I got. I'm going to give you some things in a second. We're going to go to a Q&A in a second. So one of the things my guides asked me to share with you was I have to do the ebook too. And even though it was channeled through me, I did it for 2014 to 2015, even though I didn't, I'm not going to get into all that. I didn't write it until recently, but they said to me, they showed me everything I did this year. This year was a challenging year for me, but all my friends that are close to me are like, this year was a big year for you. We think it was amazing. And I went through it just that minute with Spirit, and they showed me all these big things that I did. And they said, look at how much you learned about yourself because you didn't hold yourself back. You were bigger and brighter. And because of that, you learned how to live bigger and brighter. And they wanted me to share that with you. So if we stay small and we stay in what we know because we're afraid, we don't get to experience bigger and brighter. We don't get to push the envelope. We don't get to push the limits of ourselves. So one of the things that happened to me this year, I had a big meeting. I'm not going to get into these meetings yet. And it didn't go very well, the first one. And it sent me into a tizzy, like nobody's business. And I did everything I could to get prepared for the next meeting. And I called in reinforcement. I worked with a woman. I called in a couple of friends. I worked with my guides. I got super duper clear. It was one of the best things that happened to me because my confidence just went through the roof. The next meeting, nailed it, knocked it out of the park further than I ever could think I could do it. And continued to do that. And if I just said, oh my goodness, that was a horrible experience, I'm never going back, I'm never going back, I'm never doing it again, I would have never gotten the joy. I would have never gotten to the confidence that I feel now, the self-esteem that has been building. So I love this. Stacy says she's loving the process of the ebook. It's much easier and more fun than I thought. Yeah, I know. Thank you for saying that, Stacy, because I know it's daunting, but it's a lot of fun. Jennifer has an online business, time to get it rolling. Jennifer, you should join membership because I'm going to teach. Membership is going to teach about marketing, blogging. I'm having a special animal communicator teach, an intuitive teach, a blogger teaching. a color therapist teaching, color oracle person. I'm having special teachers come on to teach you things that I can't teach. So, and it's going to be business related and all these different related. So let me just talk about that real quick before we go to Q&A. All right. Membership. I love, 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 love my membership program. When you join my membership program, you get all the lessons from, I started it in September 2014. So you're going to get a huge array of lessons over the year that you can listen to anytime. And I've touched on so many things. You're going to get special guest classes, and you're going to get all the expert people that I interviewed. And those expert people are now coming back to teach. I have a tapper. I have so many people that I really feel live authentically. I'm very picky about who I work with. They don't come from ego, and they're phenomenal teachers. I have Anna Maria Vasquez, Simone Wright, Leslie Sloan, Dana Middleton. I have so many people. It's phenomenal. We may even do a jewelry making class because I have Tara Reynolds. Like this, these are my peeps. I love them. So each month you're going to have a focused lesson that's also going to be driven around these goals that you're going to be working on. And you can either do it based on the goals or not. That's up to you. So January is going to be all about trust, because one thing I learned this year was trust, and I really do trust. So it's all going to be about trust and working with your goals. Through this, you get lessons with me. You get the monthly lesson. You get a phone reading call, which is phenomenal because you learn from so many people on that call. My Facebook readings, I think everybody in membership would tell you that that's probably just blows the roof off of the membership program. It's unbelievable, the stuff that comes out on those readings. So I do Facebook readings for everybody. Expert speakers on variety topics, people teaching about different things. I'm a big person that studies marketing too. So if you want to have a career, I'm going to talk about that. We're going to have people talk about health. We're going to have people come in about physical fitness. I'm going to have a yoga instructor. There's going to be all these different teachers coming on board. Discount on all my classes. Interact with me from Monday to Friday and ask me for guidance. And the community blows me away. I'm just beyond, I don't have words to express the community. I really don't. They're phenomenal. So if you want to join, go to